Good day, everyone. This is Pineleaf Needles, and welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in DDO and here at DDO Players. Please welcome my host from Ravenloft, Draculetta.
Hey, everybody. Good Monday evening or morning or whatever time it is where you're at.
Well, if it's morning, it's probably Tuesday for them.
This is true. We probably do have time travelers among us.
Let's get on with our show for the game news, and we'll start out with we had a long downtime today from 3 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Actually, it was till 6 p.m. It got extended, but anyway.
Oh, yeah, it got extended. The servers are back up now?
They are back up.
That means at some point I have to go and do a certain patch because...
Play the patch game?
Yes, because we not only had a very long maintenance in order to prepare for certain hardware upgrades later on in the year, but we also had an update. Update 27, Trails of the Archons. And what's in Trails of the Archons?
It's Trials, actually. Did I misspell it on the site?
Yes.
Okay. Man, that's like the second typo I did today. I was like half asleep when I...
Okay, it's spelled correctly in the next article, but in this one it was... Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll have to add that on the site. So pay no attention to what you see on DDO Players until I edit that.
All right.
Oh my.
Read the graphic instead.
That's right. The wonderful little graphic. Yes, the Trials of the Archon is officially on live servers. Yay! Of course, the big thing in this ad, you can form an alliance with powerful celestial beings known as the Archons. In the newest adventure pack for Dungeons & Dragons Online, you can experience brand new quest, an all-new raid in the plane of eternal battle, Shabbaroth. So we're going back to Shabbaroth, folks. Can you earn the respect and the trust of the Archons to help combat the schemes of the Pit Fiend, Arathrikos? Available for level 13 Heroic and level 30 Epic. The quest givers, if you're trying to find them, they're located in Amaroth, which you can access now from the Tower of the 12, with the Shabbaroth Planescaller are also in the Eberron Hall of Heroes. There is a Planescaller there as well now. It is free to VIPs, of course. Or if you are a premium player, it's 495 turbine points. And along with that, we do have some other little updates and patches that were added in with the release of Update 27. Not too big of things. You can head over and read the complete patch notes if you want. I kind of picked out some of the things that I thought were a little bit of the biggest news out of the patch notes. You may or may not agree with me that these are the big things, but like I said, just go over. There's a link on the article on DDO Players to the official patch notes, so you can read them in their entirety. But airships, the Guild Airship Tavern Regeneration will now allow players to swap and select their spells, and it will also rejuvenate your clickies, which I know there was a lot of talk on the forums about that the Airship Tavern did not rejuvenate clickies. A lot of people really wanted that, so apparently that is fixed now, and it is working correctly. I think the biggest thing, if you craft, is you are now able to craft directly from your shared bank crafting storage. So when you're using a Barter UI when crafting, that Barter UI will automatically search your crafting storage for the items that match the available recipes you're trying to do, and it will pull them out of there first, and then it will search your bags. Also, one of the other changes, the guilds, I know we did talk about this when this was first announced, and this was on Lemania. The color of the top renowned guild is now a purplish color instead of red. So you won't have... Yeah, I like it. I like it purple-ish. So you won't have to freak out when you see that red name running towards you now in the marketplace. Okay. Hirelings got some changes. We'll see. We'll see. I'm taking the wait and see approach on this. That's right. I'll believe it when I see it. They say in preparation for some upcoming hireling AI improvements, they have created a banner that now displays when a hireling is ordered to stand its ground. This banner is visible only by the player controlling the hireling and marks the general area where the hireling should stand. So
General.
that's, yeah, again, see, general area. So I don't know. Like I said, wait and see. And they also fixed some of the conditions that could cause the hireling to go, quote, brain dead, unquote, during combat. Which, can I get an amen and hallelujah from the crowd?
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Because that was my biggest problem with hirelings, is they just went brain dead and they stopped doing anything. So hopefully this...
Well, I don't think it has been bad after. Okay, I have seen it occasionally recently, but nearly not as bad as before the Warlock update.
True. The Warlock update did bork something in hirelings big time. Then there's also a new Monster Manual volume that's available in the DDO store, and it does remain free for all VIPs, and that is 595 Turbine points. A couple changes to the UI. The full screen checkbox in the graphic options has been replaced by a screen mode drop-down menu from which you can select windowed full screen and in Windows full screen are windowed. And that runs the game in a borderless window at the desktop native resolution. There's also now an option under the UI.
Oh, wow. Whoa.
Back.
Did you say...
Back the truck up. Okay. We are now backed up.
Did you say full screen? Yes, okay. You said full screen windowed.
I said full screen window.
Yes! At last!
Apparently, Pine Leaf is very happy about this turn of events.
Oh, it took me 10 seconds to switch to it after it came into Lotro. So I'm glad it's in DDO too.
Well, yes. See, now you're going to rush right in and log in right after we get done, aren't you? So you can play in windowed full screen.
Well, I have to patch first.
Well, minor details, finally. Minor details. And there's now an NPC in the Hall of Heroes and on guild airships that will allow the character to temporarily suspend their bravery bonus. This is a toggle, and it will remain in effect until toggled again by speaking to the same NPC. And we did talk about this a couple weeks ago. This was discussed in the forums. And also to go along with that, the flawless victory bonus is now per character, and characters will no longer lose their bonus unless they die. Someone else in the group dying is no longer will remove that bonus. And hireling death also no longer reduce the flawless bonus for you as well. So that's just a few of the things, but like I said, you can head over to DDOplayers.com, check out the Update 27 Trials of the Archons release notes post, and click on the link, and you can go ahead and read the full patch notes.
Well, it doesn't sound too flawless if someone in the party dies. Maybe they should have been semi-flawless. Or slightly flawed. No, flawless is a bigger bonus, and slightly flawed gives you a lesser bonus. Well, I have a feeling that wouldn't be too popular.
Slightly flawless, I like it.
Slightly flawless. Mostly harmless. And, of course, there was a preview to this on Lemania, though the preview doesn't apply now that you could go and see it for yourself. But if you wanted to see the developers attempting to run with the update, then you could watch this preview.
Yes, this was actually part of the weekly Wednesday live stream last week. Cordovan and a few of the devs were running through this and talking about some of the content, and it was a really good time. I actually, one of my customers canceled on me, so I was actually home. So I got to watch this live, but it's up on YouTube now for anybody.
Right, now let's head into DDO Chronicle issue 151, and it looks like our top graphic is of a warlock. Is that one of those with the ancient whatever? Oh boy, I can't even remember what the third. I remember the demonic one, and of course I remember the Fey pack, but the third pack I don't remember.
Ancient
the old one, the ancient one, ancient old one. Okay,
ancient old one. It's Cthulhu, man. It's Cthulhu. Come on.
Well, yes, that would be. I could have called it Cthulhu, but
and everybody would have known
what it was technically called. Yeah, everyone would have known what
everybody
it was.
would have known what you were talking about if you would have said the Cthulhu Warlock, the Cthulhu Lock, as it was.
Yeah. All right, and anything interesting in this week?
In the community spotlight, MyCore's DDO 10-week challenge is now over. Congratulations to everybody that partook and won some prizes. You can click over on the thread to see the final standings and see who won and what their scores were. I actually haven't went over there to check that. I shall have to do that, though I didn't participate myself. But congratulations to everyone who did participate and got a prize. There's also a new DDO comic that is out now. It's by Kitty Ocean. You can click over and check that comic out. Also, don't forget about the Halfling Summer Games. They are every Friday night on Kyber, but you must be a halfling to participate, so just keep that in mind. And DDO Cast Summer Scavenger Hunt should be now ended because Patrick said the rule was as soon as Update 27 hit live, that's when the scavenger hunt would end, and that happened today. So I'm going to guess pretty soon we're going to find out who won all the goodies in that little game and contest that was running. Speaking of DDO Cast, they had a recent episode up. They were talked about getting raid ready, so click over and give that show a listen. I started to listen to that today. I got about 10 minutes in and then had to leave and haven't finished it yet. So I will get around to that, though. Damsels of DDO also had a new episode. They got the band back together. Click over and check out episode 20 of the Damsels. And Jeff over at DDO...
You mean a musical band?
I have no idea. I haven't listened to haven't watched or listened to it yet, so I have no idea what the Damsels are up to. My guess is with them, probably not, no, but I don't know.
No.
Jeff over at DDO Gamer, he has a spoiler-free look at Update 27, so go check it out. DDO Cocktail Hour also had episode 88. They talked about bravery bonuses and a lot more. And don't forget about Lessa is doing the video tutorials for the challenge missions. We talked about it last week. The Shortcut Cobalt Island Challenge is the first one up. So click over and watch that. And that's pretty much it for our Chronicle this week.
Right, and our screenshot of the week looks like 3 warlocks in front of a mountain.
Very warlocky this week in the Chronicle, which I guess
very
makes sense.
Warlocky.
My prediction is the next Chronicle is going to be very Archon-y.
Very Archon-y? Yeah, that's a possibility.
I'm just saying.
You might see an Archon or two there. Yes, all right. Let's go to our store sales. Anything interesting on sale this week?
There is so much stuff on sale this week. 20% off the select stat tomes, select skill and UMD tomes, the tomes of learning, the tomes of fates, and the Harper Agent enhancement tree. All 20% off. The summer sales event, was trying to think of a funny way to say sales on, I guess.
Sales on, I guess.
Sure, that will work.
Continues on course.
Hey, there you see. That's what I should have said. Through the 31st of July, you can get 35% off Astral Shards, 75% off the Epic Destiny, 50% off the +3 Lesser Hearts of Wood, and the Airship Hull Paints, 75% off the Sovereign Guild Renown Elixirs, and the Monster Manual Volume 4. Words are hard. 35% off for that Monster Manual.
All right. So people actually pay turbine points to paint their ship.
I know one. Lessa, I'm looking at you.
All right.
That's right. I just called you out.
Just called her out. She needs to have her ship the proper color before she goes to Cobalt Island.
She matches her ship to the particular event in the real world. So like at Christmas, her ship is red and green. At Halloween, her ship is like an orange color.
I was going to say orange and black.
And don't ask me what she does for other holidays, but that's just what she does. Nobody knows why. It's Lessa. Her mind is a scary place to be.
Let's head into our site news, and we'll begin with our screenshot of the week, which looks like Dracula doing dental work for a dragon.
See, I told you I tried to stab a dragon last week, and you didn't believe me, so now I have proof. Yes, yeah, I tried to jump up and stab a dragon. Listen to the show last week if you want to hear how it went.
I'm going to guess it didn't go well.
Kind of, sort of. I did manage to do it, but yeah, that was a big freaking dragon.
Yeah,
As you can tell from the screenshot, because I'm literally jumping up to stab it.
the thing looks like it could give some competition to Schmog.
Yes, it could.
Right, then let's go to our players' poll for this week, and the question is, have you ever been to Gen Con?
I wonder why this is a poll of the week for this week, Pinelane.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. And I wonder if you've ever been there.
Maybe one time, possibly. Yes, of course, Gen Con would be starting at the end of the week on Thursday, so that's why this poll is very apropos. And my answer is yes, I have been there a few times. Let's see. This will be my sixth year.
All right.
To go to Gen Con. So the overall number one answer was 53% out of our 43 voters in the poll said no, they have not been to Gen Con. 21% with 9 votes said, yeah, I've been a few times. 9% had yes, one time. 9% said no. What's Gen Con? See, there's always a few people that picked the funny answer. We had 5% for other, and 2% said, yes, I go every year.
And even though there are only 2 that said other, and looks like a lot more than 2 left a comment in the post.
Yes, yeah, this was, it wasn't our most voted on poll, but I think it was our most commented on poll. We had a lot of great comments. And
our first one is from Urlach Emiov, who said, used to go every year, then my job took me away. Used to DM there, and now those who I mentored in the arts and sciences of DMing go in my stead.
That is awesome that he actually taught. But it depends what kind of DM he was, though. Is he my kind of DM, or is he just a DM?
Well, it depends on, because I got the impression that all you do is kill everybody.
I try, finally. I don't always succeed, but I try.
And then you have the DMs such as, what am I wanting? Will Wheaton. Yes, I was trying to call him Wesley Crusher for some reason. Yes, DMs such as Will Wheaton. He's not necessarily trying to kill everyone, but he's a very powerful DM.
True. Well, and I guess I should rephrase that. It depends who I'm DMing for. If it's my core group of friends that I always play with, yes, them I always try to kill, just because it's just so much fun to try to kill them off. But if there's some other people that don't regularly play with us that are playing, then I'm a semi-nicer DM. I just usually pick 1 or 2 of my core friends, and I just try to kill them particularly. Also, Memnar left a comment that said, no, but I do attend PAX Prime in Seattle almost religiously. I don't have the budget for 2 cons a year, and PAX is 20 minutes away.
Well, that does make a difference there. Jeff Hanna from DDO Gamer says, a few times. Once I even co-hosted a live event. I did it all wrong, but I think everyone had fun anyway.
That, I think he's talking about probably one of the DDO cast episodes was recorded live from Gen Con several years ago, so I'm assuming that is what he is referring to. And Base CB says, as it would require hopping over the ocean to get there, it's not been on my map really, although that does make it one of those things that I want to do sometime. Yeah, and I kind of have to agree with that. If it wouldn't be in Indiana, I probably wouldn't do it all the time. But it's basically about a 2-hour and 45-minute drive from me. Even if I only go for a day, which I usually hardly ever don't, I usually go for all 4 days. But since it's only less than 3 hours away, it's easy for me to go to. So I think that makes a big difference in not just with Gen Con, just in any convention in general.
Well,
I think.
Let's just say I made more Origins when they were on the East Coast than when they moved than on the Midwest.
Yeah.
Maximus Flame said, no, but I'm planning on attending next year since I only live a few hours away. I've recently used up my vacation time for this year, plus with 5 kids, 3 of which are triplet 7-year-old boys.
Holy cow.
It's hard to get babysitters for more than a day. Have a great time, guys.
You've got 5 kids and 3 of those are triplets that are 7 years old. Good on you, sir. Good on you. Holy cow. That's crazy. And every week I do put our poll up in the fan site section of the forums. And I normally don't pull stuff out of there and we talk about it on the podcast. But once again, this generated a lot of responses in that thread in the forums. So I did pull a couple of them out to talk about. And we shall do that now. Varguil, which of course is one of the devs, said several times, starting last millennium, always with some, often tabletop game company or another, showing off a product, Origins as well. It's been a few years since my last one, though.
And Slardin says, I went several times in the 80s when the Gen part actually meant something because it was in Lake Geneva. I remember getting an early copy of the Thieves World RPG in a 3-ring notebook.
Oh, nice.
Gen Con 1981 that I won in a drawing. The auction was really great with some very rare items, and I don't think a single item sold for more than $10. And lots of role-playing. There was some board gaming, but it was mostly RPG scenarios, including playing unreleased products, which was fun. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to think when my first Origins was. I think it was in 79.
See, I have never been to Origins. I'm going to have to make that happen one of these years. Because it's not that far away from me either, but for some reason...
Then we could arrange to meet if you did that.
Well, yeah. But
we could both agree to go to Origins.
We could. We will have to make that happen one year, maybe.
All right, then let's head into news beyond DDO. And we're celebrating Gary Gygax Day. So happy birthday to the late Gary Gygax.
That's right. Did you know today, Pineleaf, was D-Day?
Was D-Day?
It's D-Day. It's Dungeons & Dragons Day.
Oh, well, I think I'm going to say it. Well, okay, so it's D-Day as in Dungeons & Dragons Day as opposed to G-Day as in Gygax Day.
Well, I guess you could call it either one. But yes, a very happy birthday to the late Gary Gygax, of course.
Of course, he'll be having trouble celebrating it.
Well, he might still be celebrating it. Who knows? He, of course, is the father of Dungeons & Dragons. Without him, we basically wouldn't have the show. Because chances are, there wouldn't be a game called Dungeons & Dragons Online. So we wouldn't be talking about that game. And we wouldn't be talking about Dungeons & Dragons. And we wouldn't be talking about Titan's Grave and all the other cool RPGs that we talk about. Because they probably, chances are, would not exist if it wouldn't be for Gary Gygax. Back in 19...
Okay. I was going to say, no, instead we'd be playing Blackmore.
Probably. Back in 1974, a long time ago, in a land of Wisconsin. Oh, no.
Yeah, in the land of Wisconsin, in Lake Geneva.
That's right. Mr. Gygax, along with Dave Arneson, gave us the first edition of Dungeons & Dragons. Can you believe it was in 1974? That seems like so long ago.
Well, seeing that I first played it in 77?
You're going to date yourself, finally. You just dated yourself.
Okay.
I won't even tell you how old I was in 1974. I'll just let people guess how old I was when it first came out. Gygax and his co-creators worked to produce something that at that point did not exist. A fantasy role-playing game. Basically, because at that point, everything was just like war game. That was the big thing, correct?
What, the big thing was either board gaming. Actually, board gaming was not exactly all that big in the U.S. Let's see. War games, board games actually were big with companies like Avalon Hill and SPI and stuff like that. And you also had miniatures being a major market. In fact, the Dungeons & Dragons grew out of miniatures because it was originally built as a set of adventure rules using a miniatures rule set called Chainmail. And that's why Tactical Studies Rules, if you look at it, if you look at the name of the company and stuff like that, it sounds like the name of a miniatures company.
Well, yes, it does.
Right. Okay, miniatures rules company. I don't think they actually made the miniatures themselves, but they were, rules to things that used miniatures in them. And the idea then is they came up with this system for having adventures in it and creating heroes within it and things like that. And that's why the very original set recommended that you had a copy of Chainmail and used it for its combat system.
which I used to have a copy of Chainmail. I don't know if I still do. I'll have to look in all my books and see if I still have Chainmail. I think I do.
If I do, it's probably next to my copy of the original booklets that I haven't seen in 12 years.
They're around there somewhere, right? The great thing is he and his two partners invested just $1,000 in the original game, and they released only 1,000 copies in the first year.
Oh yeah, they thought, who's gonna?
That's
There
right.
aren't gonna be enough people who are going to buy this.
Nobody's going to buy this crazy game. 41 years later, over 20 million people around the world have gathered with friends at D&D tables everywhere for a game of true adventures. And the only way I can think to end this is there is a quote I found that Gary Gygax, I don't know if this was in an interview or what it was from. I just found this, and I thought it was very fitting. Gary Gygax says, "I would like the world to remember me as the guy who really enjoyed playing games and sharing his knowledge and his fun pastimes with everybody else." And I think I can speak for all of us when I say thank you so much for all that you gave, not just the D&D community, but I think the gaming community in general. Just a lot of doors opened up when D&D came out, and there'd be a lot of other things that I don't think would exist if it wouldn't be for Mr. Gygax and his vision. So,
well, let's face
thank
it.
you, sir.
Without Dungeons and Dragons, you said all these other things you want to have. You wouldn't have Magic the Gathering either, because all those generations of things, and of course, and the relationship between D&D and Magic the Gathering. Back when those two were originally found would have been less obvious, since Wizards of the Coast created Magic the Gathering before they bought TSR.
Mm-hmm.
But let's then head out then to Titan's Grave, Chapter 7, where we get to meet a teddy bear.
We do. Spoiler alert, Pinely. Jeez.
Not going into details.
Yep, Chapter 7 is now out, and of course, Chapter 8 will be out tomorrow, which unfortunately is the final chapter of the story, at least so far. Hopefully, we will get another season of it, and maybe we'll find out at Titan's Grave. Maybe we'll find out at Titan's Grave. Maybe we'll find out at Gen Con during the panel that Will Wheaton and the fellow Titan's Grave people from Green Ronin are going to have. So maybe they'll announce Chapter 2. What's that?
I thought you were going. I sensed a question coming from the press.
I think there might be if they take questions. It possibly could happen. We'll see.
A panel without taking questions?
I have been to one panel where they didn't take questions, but I don't remember what game it was for. But I thought that was kind of weird. I'm like, really? You're not taking questions? That's kind of bizarre, but... Anyway, in this chapter, with the location of Reed Manor revealed, the party heads to the Moon Perch in search of the Tomb of the Prophet. After finding the hidden mansion, remember that even though the Reeds may long be dead, there are still things living in the Reed estate. Ooh, that sounds ominous. So, like I said, next week, this week, tomorrow, Tuesday, as we record this, it's Monday night, so tomorrow, Chapter 8 will release, and that is our final chapter.
Well, semi-release.
Well, yeah, it's kind of weird. They release it Tuesday, and then Thursday it goes on YouTube. It's weird the way they do it, but yes.
Right. Then let's go into Sword Coast Legends campaign creation. And what is this all about?
It has been a while since we've talked about anything about Sword Coast Legends because there really hasn't been a lot of news coming out for it. But they had over on their Twitch stream last week, they had a live stream where they showed off the campaign creation tools and how you go about creating your world and your campaign. And this, I think, is one of the biggest draws of the Sword Coast Legends game, that you're just not limited, to going through the game that the developers came up with. They're giving you the full set of tools to where you can create your own dungeons. You can do just a one-off dungeon if you want, or you can do a full-on campaign that could stretch, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. You could create multiple dungeons, multiple levels of dungeons. How much time you want to invest in creation is up to you. Whatever you want to do, you can do. And then you can either run through it yourself, or better yet, you can have your friends run through it. And as they do that, you can change it on the fly because you can be the DM. So I think that's the biggest draw for Sword Coast. And the video is about an hour long, and they didn't really go into a lot of the details on it. I mean, they showed you some stuff, and they did talk about how, they were just kind of like breezing through a lot of this. More of it was a lot more in depth than what they showed, but this does give you a good taste of just what exactly you're going to be able to do and how you're going to be able to create dungeons for your friends to run through.
Okay, good. And speaking of the Sword Coast, the Adventures Guide is coming this fall for the 5th edition of Dungeons & Dragons. That is right. The Forgotten Realms, which I believe was a request by some people during a recent poll we had, is coming officially to the 5th edition.
That's right. It's not just a video game. The Sword Coast Adventures Guide.
What a coincidence, by the way.
Exactly. And this is going to give you new class options, new character backgrounds, and deity descriptions. And as you alluded to, it is all from the Forgotten Realms. Get Wizards of the Coast said about it. You can get everything you need to adventure in the Forgotten Realms in this exciting Sword Coast, home to the cities of Baldur's Gate, Waterdeep, and Neverwinter. This is a collaboration between Green Road and Publishing and Dungeons & Dragons, the team at Wizards of the Coast. This provides D&D fans with a wealth of detail on places, cultures, and the deities of the northwestern Faerun region.
So does this mean then that they are going to have a different source book then for each of the major regions of Faerun?
That's what I wondered too. I did send WotC a email about that, and I didn't hear anything back from him. So, question number 2, I'm going to ask them at Gen Con when I run into anybody from Wizards of the Coast. So, we'll see.
Too bad I wasn't like back in the days when I used to have an inner line to Wizards.
That's right. Just call them up on the hotline.
Yeah. All right. And the 1st edition Dungeon Master's Guide is amazingly out in the D&D Classics for PDF. I mean, who would have predicted that?
I have no idea. Who would have been the genius that would have said this would have been released this week? Oh, wait.
Yes.
I think that was us.
Yes. And about 5 million other people, most likely.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, this did, like Pineleaf alluded to, this did go just like all the other things have gone. It's been the Player's Book, the Monster Book, and then the DM Book. So now all of the 1st edition books are available in PDF form from D&D Classics. And just like the Player's Guide and the Monster Guide, this is $9.99 for the PDF edition. And I guess I'll say that at least the cover of this one is not as cute as the dragon was. This demon is he's semi-menacing.
Semi-menacing.
He's not quite like the dragon was, so I'll give him that, I guess.
Yeah, but still not exactly as menacing as the original artwork.
Correct.
Anyways, I can't remember. Was he a demon? I guess I thought the original was an Efreet for some reason.
I'm pretty sure it was I'm pretty sure.
Well, this looks more like a demon than an
demon.
Efreet.
Yeah, gotta say, if that's an Efreet, they did a poor job at it.
Okay, I guess you got a point there. Though I remember reading an edition of Tales of the Arabian Nights, and the person the word that the translator chose to use for jinn and Efreet was demon.
Really?
Yeah, so all throughout this place is using the word demon in there, which obviously I could tell from the original that the term probably from the original is whatever the exact term is for jinn or Efreet in Arabian.
And your memory did serve you correct, Pineleaf, because the iconic cover to the original Dungeon Master's Guide showed adventurers fighting an Efreet.
Okay.
So you were correct. And then it said it's only when you look on the back cover that you did realize that the battle was being fought on the elemental plane of fire, the city of Brass. So good memory for you, Pineleaf. Because I swore it was like a demon looking on my cover, but maybe I had another printing of it or something.
Well, yes, there is always that. They sometimes like to spruce things up on later printings.
True.
All right, let's go into our week in DDO. And what did you do this week?
Well, I didn't do a lot this week. I was busy with planning a trip to Gen Con, and work actually kind of picked up a little bit this week. So I was doing a lot of things, but I did manage to get some gameplay in. I went out in the orchard, and I did run the Desecrated Temple of Vol, and I didn't have too many problems with that, other than I am finding one thing that my rogue is lacking, and that is I need to get an item that helps with negative levels. Because everything out in the orchard was hitting me with negative levels, especially some of the vampires in the Temple of Vol itself. I was getting negative levels left and right. So have to look at that because I'm sure it only gets worse from here on out.
Oh, fun.
And then also in the orchard, I did some more of the rares and the explorers and all that. I kind of have a little pattern I'm running because I know where some of the chests are. I don't know where they all are, where the rares should spawn. So I've been running those chests, trying to get some good loot. And of course, no good loot for me, but what are you going to do, right? And then my Ranger Rogue, of course, ran something with you on our weekly playthrough. I'll let you talk about that. The only other...
Maybe you should.
Okay, I guess I can if
yes.
if you want me to. Sure, we went back out in the Giant Hold because we're working on the Agents of Argonescence favor. So we went out in the Giant Hold and did some of the Explorers. Tried to do some of the rares. I think we only got one of them to pop.
Yeah.
So, but, then again, RNG, what are you going to do? We did run 2 quests. We did Feast or Famine, where we didn't have any problems whatsoever in that one. And then we did a Cabal for 1. And we didn't have any problems in there either until the end fight. That end fight was just craziness. But the problem we had with the end fight is the stupid assassin that shows up in there.
Oh, him.
He was just causing all sorts of problems for us. And it was just crazy because, we had that assassin, and then we had the boss we're trying to kill, and then we had the ads on top of that, and the assassin kept just like messing everything up, and it's just like it was just crazy. Finally, we ended up. I think what we did is we see how far you got the boss's attention, and we see how far out the boss would follow you. So we kind of left the room and went out in the hallway a little bit, and for some reason the assassin didn't follow right away when we did that. So then it was just you and I and the boss. So that helped. So we got the boss down, and then we finally took out the assassin. But that was a crazy end fight.
Right, that certainly was the case there.
And then the only other thing I did, D&D related, we'll say, is I did create my Adventure League character that I'm going to run in the Adventure League games I'm going to run at Gen Con this year. I created, wait for it, a level 1 Drow Elf Rogue. Anybody shocked at this? No, not at all. And if you're shocked, you apparently haven't listened to the show ever. So welcome, if you weren't shocked.
Yes.
Welcome to the show. We're glad you're here. For everybody that's been here before, you're going, nope, makes sense. So what about you, Pine Leaf? What did you do?
All right. In addition to that little trip to Giant Hold, on my Warlock video series, I finished up on the Sharn Syndicate with Repossession and the other stuff. Now, on the Bookbinder Rescue, I had to do 2 attempts on that because the first time I was trying to bash down the door, and it took me half past forever to get that door open. And by the time I got that door open, the hostage inside was dead.
Oh, no.
It was like, what? Okay. And during the second attempt, I did complete it, but one of the binders was suicidal, and now I finally figured out why I have had sometimes trouble with this one is because the benders are suicidal. I was wondering why they sometimes run to the middle of nowhere. They're not running to the middle of nowhere. They are running to one of the other rooms in order to attack the opponents. Oh, I didn't know that. That's no wonder they always get killed because they're all fighting someone else when I'm on the other side of the building.
I guess I never paid attention to that either. I didn't realize. I just thought they were just running up to try to find the exit on their own.
No, they're not trying to find the exit. They're trying to run to one of the other rooms to see if they could bash the enemy because I ran there and saw that the bender there was smashing down a door and actually managed to smash down the door before I had a chance to get there. But fortunately, I managed to pull their skin out of the fire before they got killed.
Oh, okay.
So now I finally understand what's going on there is that they are crazier than some of the other NPCs I've run into. Now, I also ran, in addition to the ending of the Sharn Syndicate, I ran Proofus in the Poison, and I ran that one because I, of course, naturally was watching the series, the Shady Rogues, and they were doing Proofus in the Poison. And you know how I don't like to watch episodes that contain dungeons I've never done before.
I hate that quest. Oh, I hate that quest.
Right, so I went in, and I don't think I'd ever done that quest before.
I can see why. I think I've done it once, and I'm like, nope, that's enough. I'm done.
Yeah, so I was going in there, and it was a bit crazy, I must say. And going through all there, going on there, saying, wait a minute, and the boss is a Scarrow?
Yeah.
Right, so therefore that was that little one, Proofus and Poison, so I have done that one, and hopefully if I ever in a position where I think I need to do it again, I could remember why I've only done it once.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked you have never suggested that we did that when we're playing.
I think it's one that I've always missed or something like that. I don't know how it is that I keep on forgetting that one. Maybe I had actually done it sometime in the past, and there was this deep subconscious thing that even though I don't remember any details, that was telling me. But yeah, that was a real dilly of when I was level 5, and that was a level 4 quest. I didn't bump it up or anything like that. Now, I decided that since that was a hard quest, and that was a good endpoint for my video series, because ending it on a long, because it was a 3-episode quest, so on a long dungeon and showing probably all I could pull out that I could do for the Warlock in there, that it didn't seem like having a longer series just showing me, just more of the same for the Warlock would be a good idea. So right. I thought that would be a perfect ending spot for the whole thing.
So you still liking your Warlock, though?
Oh, yeah, I'm liking my Warlock, so I'll have to. Now that means maybe that'll give me time to go back to my level 7 Warlock, so I could actually resume leveling that one since I've had other characters I've been working on a lot. All right, now my permadeath favored soul, was doing the steam tunnel, so I did the Sacred Helm, the blockade, and all that stuff, and up to the halls of Chanticleer. And I reached level 5, which means that successful completion of the favored soul then.
And what's your opinion of the favored soul?
Meh.
Why did I know that was going to be your opinion?
I mean, the only advantage I can see to the favored soul is that they have more spell points, but I'm not exactly one who spends spell points like water.
Right, yep.
So if you're one who does spend spell points for water, then maybe the favored soul is more up your alley. But if you're one who seems to be parsimonious in using it, like I am, then it sounds to me that cleric might be better for your style. And then I decided that since I didn't want to start on my next permadeath character, my next single class permadeath character until this week, which is by the rotation I've got, going to be the Warlock. Oh, what a coincidence. I decided to start my multi-class one, since that's one that's going to be ongoing anyway. So I did all the Cortho stuff, and got from level 1 to 3. I started out as Rogue, then I added Warlock, and then I added Druid.
So you're 1-1-1 right now.
1-1-1 right now.
Okay.
And I can see that the single Warlock is, the focused Warlock is a lot more powerful than because, I spread out the power, so I'm not blasting them as easily to this because I have a lot of skill points and such like that for my Rogue build, and of course I have these extra points in some other attributes because I want to be able to do my Druid, so therefore I'm not as focused on the Warlock in that case.
Right,
so therefore, not quite as powerful as I was with the single class. But I guess that's to be expected. The idea is for me to learn how to take advantage of all 3 classes and to make it a more powerful and cohesive unit. Since that's something I've never successfully done with multi-classing in the game before.
Right.
If you wish to help support DDO players, you can go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on DDO Players News, or even to be able to guest host with us. And if you wish, you'd also give us some feedback by sending us a review on iTunes, or perhaps giving us a comment that we may later feature on the show. We do, of course, have an email, and this is from Enrique, our favorite stalker. And what does he say?
It was entitled Checking In, and he says, "Hey, Pineleaf and Draculetta. It's been a while since your, quote, stalker, end quote, has checked in, so I wanted to take a second to send you guys a quick note. I just wanted to say you guys are doing a great job as always, and I wanted to wish Draculetta to have a great time at Gen Con. I wish I could go, but oh well. I wanted to also mention two quick things. First, I believe I heard you guys talking about whether or not running quests that only have solo difficulty level will break a bravery bonus streak. Quests such as the Miller's Debt, Home Sweet Sewer, Arachnophobia, and an Explosive Situation will not break a streak because solo is the only difficulty you can select. There are a few other quests that won't break your streak either. These include the challenges and the quest called Devil's Assault. Devil's Assault is located inside the marketplace, and that won't break your streak because it is a special quest where it is a level 6 on normal, level 12 on hard, and a level 18 on elite. This is the only quest that scales this way, as this quest is a remnant of the classic Devil Invasion from a few years ago. And the next thing I wanted to mention was some hints for the Orchard. There are 4 flagging quests in the Orchard: Flushmaker's Laboratory, Ghost of Preperdition, the Desecrated Temple of Baal, and the
Inferno
of the Damned. It would help if I could talk. It really would. I won't want to spoil anything, but I would recommend trying Desecrated Temple of Baal first, although it is in the boonies. And just a side note, I did take his advice on that, and I did do that one first. And yes, it is in the boonies. It took me forever to find it. These quests are fun and can be annoying. And just a side note, Patrick at DDO Cast did a walkthrough of the Inferno of the Damned a while back, and I know the Damsels walked through it relatively recently as well, if you wanted to give yourself some spoilers. Also, the Explorer Zone for the Orchard can be a great place to rack up quite a bit of experience. And side note here, I will agree with the experience. I'm getting a lot of experience just by doing these Slayers and the Explorers out there. Anyway, he says, until next time, Edric, your stalker. So thanks, Edric, for the email. And I did email him back, and we did talk about the Orchard a little bit. And he did give me some hints and stuff for some of the other quests. So we'll see how I progress in the Orchard.
And if you would like to stalk us, you could send an email to podcast@ddoplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter. The Players Alliance @PlayersAlly. DDO Players @DDO Players. Draculetta @Draculetta_72. Pineleaf @Pineleaf Needles. And the Players Alliance has 3 live shows every single week. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. On Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Guild Wars Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have Lotro Players News. And you can join us for our live shows at ddoplayers.com/live. And don't forget that our Gen Con 2015 coverage starts on Thursday. Keep an eye on our website, Twitter, YouTube for all things Gen Con 2015. That is all for tonight. And this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to loot those treasure chests.